if you inspire one person, you've lived like a positive, successful life.
I think that it's an everyday thing. You know, it's not a game day thing. It's not a crunch time thing. It's practice. It's film sessions. It's walkthroughs. It's every day. That's the biggest thing. I've been fortunate to play with a lot of good players and a lot of great leaders, and that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from those guys.
My agenda isn't to come out and score as many points and shoot as many baskets as possible. It's never that. It's to be a complete player, be a leader. When you're asked to score. When you're asked to do something else, do that. So I don't think those are two conflicting ideas. Because you can still be a mentor, you can still develop young guys. There's always that competitive side, obviously, to basketball. You know, every year, you know, in previous years with Detroit, you know, our goal was to get to the playoffs, you know, we did that 2 years ago, and that's great. But you know, my main focus now was to play, you know, and contend for a championship. So, you know, mindset doesn't change. I'm always trying to win a basketball game every time I step on the court. But playing these meaningful minutes, playing with these guys, and you know, really contributing in any way possible, and not to say you have to shoulder the whole load, you know, with certain teams, but I had a little bit more of that in Detroit with a younger team and more of a mentor role, and you know, now this sort of reminds me of you know, playing with some of those Clipper teams when we had so many veteran guys and so many experienced guys.
But, you know, I was watching D Rose's post-game interview last night. I, in a way, know how he feels. You know, he's dealt with some pretty bad injuries. I mean, he was at the top of the game, and he's fought his way back. So in a way, I could relate to that. Just dealing with rehab summer after summer and not being able to actually work on my game, but just focusing all my attention on just getting back to be able to play. So, yeah, you know, a game like that or starting out a season like that kind of gives you that little bit of satisfaction. You settle into it and you say, all right, let's get back to business here.
You know, those things, the reason you're able to do those things and the reason guys come back from injury and are able to play at a high level is their work ethic, you know, and their attention to detail. And if you don't broadcast that, people don't see it. And if people don't see it, people don't think it exists. So I understand how people think and how people work, but I don't post my workouts on Instagram. I don't detail my day, you know, top to bottom. I don't go through, you know, I don't really even do that many interviews on everything I do. So I understand that, you know, people don't see, when you get hurt, people don't see that you have to work so much harder than when you're healthy and you're just maintaining throughout the season. So I don't expect people to appreciate that. I don't expect people to understand or you know, to still have faith in you, because that's not really where we're at. So it gives me motivation, but like I said, it doesn't make me lose any sleep.
You know, you like you said, you're a professional athlete. You're supposed to be doing this, and I'm having to start over almost from the bottom and work my way up. So it is. I don't know if embarrassing is quite the right word. Very humbling. And then, you know, people backing off 6 feet from you. Like, all right, you know, but you can't. You just have to keep going. You have to keep working on that. You can't take that as like a personal thing.
You know, I've been through this so many times. You know, you miss a year, or have a down year, or you know, you deal with some injuries, and you know, you hear it all. So you know, you're only in this league, you're only as good as your last game, your last season, whatever you've done, whenever the last time you touched the court. So I've had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to gather motivation. I'll say that.
You know, when Kobe's somewhere and he walks in and sits down at a table, and I didn't know what to say besides hi, and then, you know, we spent like the next 2 hours talking, and you know, I walked away thinking like that was like the coolest moment ever, not knowing that he comes in there regularly. So, you know, over the course of the next 6 months, we sat there and talked about basketball, life, you know, and it was like the first time I saw somebody that was larger than life, you know, and they were sort of humanized to me, you know, because I was able to sit there and talk to them about whatever. I think that's like, you know, one of my favorite memories about him, because that's kind of when I really learned, you know, the mental aspect of the game of basketball. I knew physically, you know, you have to work out. You know, I'd heard the stories about him working out like crazy and all that, but the way he talked about footwork, attention to detail, like all these little things. I mean, that was a year of just like pure knowledge that I just got to sit there and absorb every single day. So, you know, I think about all that.